Joining us on India Upfront, Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Ram Kripalji, Senior Journalist, Parimal Kumar, State General Secretary of the JDU, Rajiv Rai, National Secretary and Spokesperson, Samajwadi Party, Lokesh Jindal, Leader of the Congress, and Ashutosh, Senior Journalist. We are going to dissect one by one all the things, because a lot of things have happened today, from the house of Mr. Sharad Pawar to the headquarters of the BJP. Let me start with the non-political guests first. Let me start by asking you, Ram Kripalji, कि आपको लग रहा है कि G20 अब क्लियरली फ्रंट एंड सेंटर इलेक्शन का मुद्दा होगा भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए?
निश्चित रूप से भारतीय जनता पार्टी उसे बनाएगी भी, और वो देखिए बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है, वो ऑलरेडी बन चुका है। देखिए, हमेशा एक क्लासेस और मासेस की बात होती है। क्लासेस के बीच तो वो ऑलरेडी है।
क्यों?
और
बहुत से लोग पूछेंगे क्यों, क्या फर्क पड़ता है मासेस को?
मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूं कि सबसे ज्यादा अगर कोई विरोध भी होता है तो क्लासेस में होता है। जो आप देखिए ना, जैसे उसको लेकर के कि क्यों मोदी क्रेडिट ले रहे हैं, क्यों ये सब हो रहा है, ये सारी चीजें उसी तरह के जो पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स हैं, प्लस जो एकेडमिया है, यही लोग करते हैं। लेकिन मेरा ये कहना है कि दोनों खेमे हैं। जो एक मोदी के पक्ष में, जैसा कि अभी वो कह रही थी कि भाई जो यूनानिमस ये हुआ, तो देखिए, एक तो ये निश्चित तौर पर जिस तरह से दुनिया बटी हुई थी, बहुत पढ़े लिखे लोग तमाम सब इस बात में आशंकित थे कि शायद ही यूक्रेन और रसिया का सवाल जिस तरह से होगा और पूरा यूरोप जिस तरह से इस पर दबाव डालेगा। आज भी अखबारों में है कि बाइडेन भी चाहते थे कि नहीं कुछ हो, लेकिन फिर भी मना लेना, और इतना तो निश्चित तौर पर आप उसको कहिए कि भारत भी मानता।
बट देन स्टिल पीपल वुड आर्ग्यू, संजू वर्मा, दिस वाज एन इवेंट ऑफ India, of Bharat, not I.N.D.I.A, of India, but it is being projected and celebrated at BJP. Why?
Let's be very clear, and I'm not going to be apologetic, Padmaja. Forgive me, I don't think that's a smirk that you're wearing, but I think you know what I'm going to say. मान लो, खुदा ना खास्ता, some event would have occurred during the G20. कोई अनटुवर्ड इंसिडेंट हो जाती, सारा ठीकरा किसके सर पर फोड़ा जाता? बीजेपी के। सारा ठीकरा किसके सर पर फोड़ा जाता? प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी। देखो, एक इतना बड़ा इवेंट था, इतने महान हस्तियां आने वाली थी, और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी की सरकार ने उनका सत्कार तक नहीं किया। I have been on some debates in the last 24 hours where official spokespeople of the Congress have accused the BJP and Prime Minister Modi of suffering from narcissism and megalomania. तो उनको मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ, कर्नाटका में जब आपकी जीत हुई, what did Narendra Modi do? What did Amit Shah do? What did JP Nadda do? They clearly said, with all humility, we accept the verdict given by the people of Karnataka. We will introspect and continue to work harder. हमने ये नहीं कहा, why is Siddharamaiah celebrating? Why is Rahul Gandhi celebrating? Why is Priyanka Vadra celebrating? Why is Jijaji Robert Vadra celebrating? When you won Himachal Pradesh, again we displayed grace in defeat. We did not question your attitude of celebrating your victory, despite the fact that the difference between victory and defeat was barely 0.37%. तो पॉलिटिक्स में जो जीतता है, जो जीता वही सिकंदर. This massively successful G20 summit owes entire credit to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. More than 900 hours were spent over the last 9 months to ensure that the New Delhi declaration, which was eventually passed without even a footnote, forget any correction to any paragraph.
Okay.
I think that is Team Modi at work, and you have to give credit, and you have to learn to digest with the fact that despite being in power for 9.5 years, be it the Times ETG survey, be it the Lokniti poll, be it the Pew survey, they all say that Modi's popularity ranges from anywhere between 63 to 76%. Pew ने तो यहाँ तक कहा 55% of the people are extremely happy.
Okay, let's take it one by one. Let's take it one by one. Lokesh Jindal, do you think
are reasonably happy?
From these images, it is absolutely clear that this is going to be one of the main issues that the BJP highlights. Is the Congress going to lose out, considering that barring the Congress, actually nobody else during the summit at least tried to pick holes? Mostly everyone was on board. The TMC went for the president's dinner, the DMK went for the president's dinner, or rather the chief ministers of Bengal and Tamil Nadu went for the president's dinner. Few of the Congress CMs did not go. They were the ones tweeting videos saying, oh, देखो मोदी जी को तो टोस्ट ही करना नहीं आता, जो बाइडेन ने क्या उनको सिखा दिया, बड़े मजे आ गए. Do you think that's going to backfire?
Padmaja, it takes me back to history. During the British time period, there used to be the imperial darbar. The entire nation was facing price rise, famine, but the imperial darbar was conducted, the queen was invited, grand gala dinner was hosted, all princely rulers went and attended it. But please understand, all these G20 nations participating, their citizens are not going to vote. It is going to be the Indians who are going to vote. Even now, our retail inflation is above the permissible limit. We see that right from pulses, right from food grains, right from non-food grain items, all necessity items, they are all shooting above the permissible limit. There is rising unemployment. At every household, there is problems with respect to...
You think the G20 is imperial darbar?
Obviously, it is. It looks like an imperial darbar. I mean, there were 200 meetings held in 58 cities. And the overall expenditure that was done, it was in thousands of crores money was spent in beautification, pomp and show. Whereas the need was so as to reduce the food prices. The way the government did last month by reducing the LPG prices by 200 rupees, which brought down the inflation by few percentage points.
Are you seriously putting forward an argument like that?
I am putting forward an argument that the government is having wrong priorities. Rather than projecting one single person at the national level, it is more important that policies are formulated for the people, for the ordinary people, and what is happening at the economic front.
Okay, let's before you respond to this, Sanju Verma, I want to quickly get it. Okay, 30 seconds, Sanju Verma, then I must open this up to the JDU and the Samajwadi Party. Yes.
In 30 seconds, since inflation is something that has been coming up for discussion at every alliances meet and even something mentioned by Lokesh Jindal, I just want to tell him, yes, 6.83%, which is the retail inflation for August, is not something we are happy about. It needs to come down to the RBI's permissible limit of between 4 to 6%. But आप मेरे को ये बताइए, why is it that the highest inflation rate in the country comes from Rajasthan at 9.7%? Highest rural inflation in the country at 9.9% comes from Rajasthan. Highest urban inflation at 10.4% comes from Rajasthan. Second highest inflation comes from Jharkhand, where Congress is in alliance with JNM. Third highest inflation comes from Tamil Nadu, where Congress is in alliance with DMK. Instead of giving lecture to the BJP,
the highest unemployment,
look at your
it is Haryana. Which has the highest unemployment rate. If you are talking about the states which have shown highest inequality,
please do not derail. The visuals that we see today are very simple. And the messaging being done, Rajiv Rai, is that Bharat is Vishwa Guru. To put it very bluntly, that's the messaging of what we saw at the BJP headquarters. How will Team I.N.D.I.A react to this? That is what the messaging of the BJP is going to be, कि G20 के organization से देश का मान बढ़ा है और उसके लिए responsible is the Prime Minister and he should be given another term. Mr. Rajiv Rai.
Padmaja, maybe the BJP, all of us know the BJP will try to project as if it is Modi's achievement or BJP achievement, but whole countries, except for all those who all are WhatsApp University scholars, whole country knows that G20 we got on rotation. Before us Indonesia was there and next year it will be in the Brazil. So if it was not Modi, if it was Padmaja or anybody else also, this hosting should have come to us. And anything our country hosts an international event, we are happy about that. We don't want to bring it to that level. But you try to make people fool that you have done a great achievement. No, the basic point we have spelled out in today's meeting, what is going to be our agenda. You cannot divert our mind. Mahungai nahi hai, berozgari nahi hai, bhrashtachar nahi hai. You saw today UP how many incidents happen. The same media, I'm sorry to make this statement and these things, same media, even for a small statement, I remember when Akhilesh Yadav was the chief minister, one journalist, lady journalist went and said, हमारा तो चेन छीन लिया गया. She is questioning CM and saying that it's a Gunda Raj. Today what happened in Noida? Every day how many incidents has happened in the UP? If somebody try to divert mind from the basic issues, from inflation, from unemployment, from the crime, from false promises, for the Jumlas, people of India is not going to touch it.
Okay, respond to this, that this
by-elections also.
This pomp and show and felicitation.
No, you allow me to complete.
Okay, complete your point, Mr. Rai.
You have given enough time to the Congress spokesperson. Allow me to complete. Still go on firing. Nobody will understand who is this. When G20 was being hosted, we had a by-election in our country. And luckily there was one by-election in my own constituency. You know that the result?
Go see.
No,
Yes.
no party has ever got so much of vote what we got in my constituency. India has reflected their mind, their approach, and people have approved that. And days have been counted. You try to glorify yourself, try to flower showering and mega events.
Okay, Mr. Rai, now let's take this one by one. Sanju Verma, first respond to the first point that all of this is diversion from key issues which today I.N.D.I.A said. They said 3 main issues they are going to take up. They are going to talk about caste census, they are going to talk about unemployment, and they are going to talk about inflation. And no celebration and G20 is going to divert them from it. Sanju Verma.
You know, Padmaja, I am not tired, but I will not be deflected from the fact that today it is not the BJP which needs to answer questions. यदि समाजवादी पार्टी के प्रवक्ता यहाँ पर सीना तान कर घोसी बाई इलेक्शन जीतने का श्रेय लेना चाहते हैं, तो उनको रामपुर बाई इलेक्शन हारने का दुख भी होना चाहिए, आजमगढ़ बाईपोल हारने का दुख भी होना चाहिए, खेद भी प्रकट करना चाहिए. And I remember 2022 assembly. Now you keep quiet.
One at a time. We'll keep this civil. Rajiv ji, I'm going to come back right to you. Yes.
हाँ, अभी राजीव राय सुनिए बड़े ध्यान से. Before 2022 assembly elections, I was on a zillion debates, especially on Padmaja Joshi's show on Times Now. हर डिबेट पर समाजवादी पार्टी के प्रवक्ता सीना तान कर कहते थे, डंके की चोट पर योगी आदित्यनाथ दोबारा कभी मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे नहीं, बीजेपी का इस बार सुपड़ा साफ हो जाएगा. और आपके इतना नैरेटिव पेडल करने के बावजूद समाजवादी पार्टी वॉज रिड्यूस टू अ मियर 111 सीट्स. आपने कहा था जयंत चौधरी और पारेडी, हमने इनको अपने खेमे में कर लिया है. देखिए जयंत चौधरी हमारे लिए क्या चमत्कार करेंगे. मात्र 5 सीटें जीती. आपने बीजेपी से स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य को लिया और कहा स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य देखिए अभी समाजवादी पार्टी के लिए कौन सा चमत्कार करते हैं. चमत्कार तो कुछ नहीं हुआ. यू फेस्ड अ हॉरिफाइंग डिफीट. बीजेपी केम बैक टू पावर consecutively for the first time in 37 years. It was a record that a sitting chief minister came back to power in Uttar Pradesh. इसीलिए यहाँ पर बीजेपी को भाषण मत दीजिए, अखिलेश यादव को जाकर बोलिए पहले उत्तर प्रदेश का चुनाव जीतना सीखे, बाद में दिल्ली की सत्ता के ख्वाब.
Now Rajiv Rai, I want to come back to you with a counter question. You are saying, let me ask you actually, are you saying that your Ghosi win is bigger achievement than the organization of the G20 summit? राजीव जी, आप कह रहे हैं कि मतलब घोसी जीतना G20 समिट को ऑर्गेनाइज करने से ज्यादा बड़ा अचीवमेंट है?
नहीं पद्मजा, मैं पहले तो अपने भाजपा के मित्र जो बहुत जोश में आ जाती हैं, गुस्से में आ जाती हैं, यू बी काम एंड कूल. हेल्थ इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन द पॉलिटिक्स. ओके,
नो एवरीवन इज काम एंड कूल सर. प्लीज
आपको घोसी रामपुर याद आ रहा है. अभी कर्नाटका के इलेक्शन हुआ, दिल्ली का इलेक्शन हुआ, हिमाचल प्रदेश का इलेक्शन हुआ. यू नो दैट four state you lost in all 3. We had 7 by election, you lost in 4, and this is the result card. Why you are this thing? Keep basing on that.
Now let's take a look. Sir, hold on a second. Rajiv ji, let's pull up.
मोदी 38 लोगों को साथ खड़ा होकर बात कर रहे हैं. औकात नहीं है कि एक अकेला मोदी क्यों नहीं चुनाव लड़ देते हैं?
Rajiv ji, let's analyze. Since you said for every G20 there are by-election results that you have to show.
जोर से चिल्लाओ, झूठ बोलो, नॉन स्टॉप बोलते जाओ.
एक सेकंड सर, आप बाइपोल रिजल्ट्स की बात कर रहे हैं, बिल्कुल बाइपोल रिजल्ट्स की बात कर रहे हैं. आप कहते हैं कि एक तरफ G20 समिट है, बीजेपी उसको अचीवमेंट दिखा रहा है. हमारी अचीवमेंट है द 4 सीट्स, बाइपोल सीट्स दैट हैव बीन वन बाय टीम I.N.D.I.A, और उससे मैसेज आता है 2024 का. लेट्स पुल अप दोस 4 and 3 सीट्स व्हिच ईच साइड हैज वन. गोइंग बाय योर लॉजिक राजीव जी, त्रिपुरा में एक सीट जो कि लेफ्ट के पास थी वो बीजेपी ने छीन ली, एंड वो भी विद अ मुस्लिम कैंडिडेट. Are we supposed to believe then from that result that all Muslims in 2024 will start voting for the BJP? Then you had the Congress.
How do you forget West
the
Bengal
Congress defeating the CPM, which is the ruling party in Kerala.
How do you take the West Bengal? We won where the BJP is ruling. We won where the opposition is ruling.
You haven't
won where the BJP
you
is
haven't
holding
won.
the seat.
TMC
We
has
won where
won
we are
and
holding the
TMC
seat.
has defeated the Congress in Dhupgudi. You haven't won, sir. आप कह रहे हैं टीम इंडिया की जीत हो गई. टीम इंडिया की जीत कैसे हो गई? टीएमसी ने कांग्रेस और लेफ्ट को हराया है. वहां लेफ्ट का कैंडिडेट था, कांग्रेस ने सपोर्ट किया था.
TMC is not a partner in India.
But isn't Congress a partner in India? ये तो बड़ा कन्वीनियंट है राजीव जी. TMC जीतती तो चित भी आपकी, कांग्रेस जीतती तो पट भी आपकी.
Mark my word, it is not going to work. It is not going to work. It is not going to work. We are going to remind you about your price rise. We are going to remind you about 2 crore jobs every year. We are going to remind you about the crime rate. We are going to remind you about the corruption in the country.
Okay, fine.
We are going to, today in the Gorakhpur railway officers has been caught. Ram Rajya. And we are going to remind everything, whatever you have cheated this public, how you have sold the property of India. This the questions are being going to ask.
Okay, all right, fine, sir. You ask all of that. Anyone has the right to ask whatever questions they want on the election trail. Ram Kripalji wants to weigh in. Then I want to open this up and really get in the JD. Yes.
मैं एक फैक्चुअल बात बता दूं बाय इलेक्शन पर. आपको याद होगा 2019 के पहले जितने भी समाजवादी के स्पोक्स पर्सन या कांग्रेस के सब लोग कहते थे कि याद रखो कैराना, फूलपुर, गोरखपुर तीनों जगह बीजेपी हार गई थी. याद कीजिए, कैराना, फूलपुर, गोरखपुर तीनों जगह बीजेपी हार गई थी. उसके बाद क्या हुआ? और ये तीनों इतनी महत्वपूर्ण सीटें थी. योगी आदित्यनाथ के गोरखपुर में बीजेपी हार गई थी, कैराना में हार गई थी, फूलपुर में हार गई थी. और बहुत दिन तक ये चलता रहा, 2019 तक ये चलता रहा. फूलपुर, कैराना, गोरखपुर. और आप सुनिए, जहां तक घोषी का सवाल है, आज ही अजय राय ने कहा है कि सपा ने हमको धोखा दिया है. आज कहा है, उन्होंने कहा कि देखिए हमने, कांग्रेस ने पूरी मदद की और इनको जिताया घोषी, और इन्होंने बागेश्वर में कैंडिडेट खड़ा कर दिया अपना जो 2200 वोट लेके गया और हम 1600 वोट से हार गए. आज अजय राय का ताजा बयान है कि ये हालत है समाजवादी पार्टी की. तो आपका I.N.D.I.A का ये असली रूप है आज की तारीख में.
ओके, वेरी क्विक रिस्पॉन्स फ्रॉम राजीव राय, देन आई वांट टू गो टू जेडी. बताइए.
जवाब दे दूं. राम कृपाल सिंह जी 19 इलेक्शन से पहले बीजेपी ने कर्नाटक भी जीता था, बीजेपी ने हिमाचल भी जीता था. बहुत बड़े बड़े स्टेट तो आप भूल जाते हैं. आप लोग सिलेक्टिव एमएनसी के शिकार हैं और उत्तर प्रदेश की घोषणा की बात कर रहे हैं. तो मैं उसमें 2 मैसेज गया है. जो पूर्वांचल नहीं, बोलने दीजिए, मैं नहीं बोला था. पूर्वांचल में जो लोग ओम प्रकाश राजभर दावा करते थे कि उन्हीं की वजह से हो गया, जिसको लेकर आप छाती पीट रहे थे, जब वो हमारे साथ थे तो हम 22,000 से जीते, जब चले गए तो हम 42,000 से जीते. पहली बात. अजय राय ने जो कहा है, हमने उत्तर प्रदेश में ओपन लेटर से अपील किया और उन्होंने सारी पार्टियों ने समर्थन किया. उत्तराखंड में किसी ने नहीं किया था. और छोटी छोटी बातों को आप लेकर खुश होना चाहते हैं, तो हम चाहते हैं कि खुशमबी बनी रहे. जैसे चुनाव से पहले कर्नाटक, हिमाचल प्रदेश, दिल्ली हर जगह जीत के आप छाती पीट रहे थे कि सारे बड़े स्टेट तो हम जीत गए और हो गया, बाकी हर स्टेट में बदल गए. वैसे भी हम 24 में दिल्ली में भी बदल देंगे. आप निश्चिंत रहिए, देश को जुमलेबाजों से हम छुटकारा दिला देंगे.
निश्चित सबको रहना चाहिए.
कृपाल सिंह जी, आप पत्रकार हैं तो बाकी बातों को भी याद रखिए.
Okay, no personal back and forth. Everyone should be nischint and happy. Now I want to come to the next agenda item, the Team India meeting that happened today, and they put out a joint statement, and the one thing they said clearly was that they are going to have their first rally. They've got 4-5 main things that they have discussed, but the primary among them that they are going to have their first joint rally in Bhopal, and it is going to take place at the beginning of October. We also have Chandrayaan, senior journalist, who is joining us now. What do you make of the joint statement that has been put out and the outcome of the very first coordination meeting that took place today at the house of Sharad Pawar? Mr. Narayan.
Well, I wish I could track this a little bit more closely, but from what I understand, this is an alliance that is inching forward, and there's a lot of problems all along the way. All they know is that they want to fight the elections jointly together, and what they need to do is to build up a mood, because it's becoming a mood thing right now. Because right now, the country, all the popularity ratings show Mr. Modi to be very strong. There's an overwhelming mood thing. And unless there is a certain amount of picking up of issues that they talk about, it's going to be difficult for them. And that is the first step, and probably that's where the rally matters, because the mood has to be built. Then will come the issues of state seat sharing. And most important of all, right now, if you look at the way the I.N.D.I.A party and the Congress have been behaving in states like Haryana and Punjab, you see that there's a lot of internal contradictions to be resolved within the alliance. And that basically means that the local cadres of respective parties who are otherwise fighting each other need to be told that there has to be a certain code of conduct. And there has also to be a common minimum program. And there, of course, there are seat level issues in which there will be a lot of haggling. And all of this is a lot of hard work which is ahead. So the rally may be a good mood builder, as I see it, but there's a long way to go. Of course, there are months to go. Right now, there's a lot of focus on the just into the G-20 meeting. There will be now also a special session of Parliament. We don't know what it will bring. So we already have the Sanatan Dharma controversy running.
So here's my question.
It will be a combination of factors in which both the opposition, that is the India Alliance, as well as the BJP, will try to set their own agenda.
But hasn't the BJP already set their agenda? As far as talking points are concerned, they have picked up on two things: the success of the G20 summit and the entire Sanatan Dharma controversy. As opposed to right now, where we have the third meeting, or rather the fourth meeting, 3 main meetings and first coordination committee, and still there is no deadline on when the seat sharing will happen. Do you think that this is a fair progression, or I.N.D.I.A is falling behind if they really want to bring up a cogent opposition to the BJP's agenda setting?
I would say it's neither. They are neither falling behind nor are they moving forward. What they are doing is to actually, they are spending a lot of time shedding suspicions. Because please understand, they are starting with a negative balance sheet. If you take a state by state view, if you take away a state like Karnataka, where there is basically Congress versus the BJP. But if you look at the Kaveri dispute, for instance, Congress and the BJP have DMK have a problem from an interstate perspective, because they are both ruling parties in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. If you take North, I.N.D.I.A party wants to make its presence felt in Haryana as well as Punjab. In both states, it's pitted against the Congress. So, forget about common. They have to first build a certain amount of working familiarity with each other. Today, it was so amusing as well as annoying or strange to see Uddhav Thackeray stand right next to Sonia Gandhi and posing in an alliance. If you look at the ideological history of these two parties, there are a lot of issues to be resolved. And therefore, I'm not surprised at the fact that things are moving slowly, because, this is not even in cricket teams, look at what is happening to India.
Well, things are moving slowly, but at what point does it cross the line into moving at a glacial pace?
Let me turn the whole argument, tactically around. Who knows? Because Mr. Sharad Pawar is in command, and Mr. Pawar is known to be a strong tactician and a very shrewd player. And therefore, one way of looking at it is that they feel that if they allow seat sharing now, given Mr. Amit Shah's incredible capacity to do what is called the Panna Pramukh strategy, it would basically mean that you're revealing your cards right away. So, we don't know. Elections are a combination of chess and cards.
Okay, let Sanju Verma respond to this. This also could be a strategy to counter your Panna Pramukh strategy. Sanju Verma.
Yeah, that's one way of looking.
Okay. Can I come in?
Yes.
Thank you. I just have this to say. I noticed something very interesting today. Obviously, the Enforcement Directorate had summoned Abhishek Banerjee, so he could not attend the ... Alliances Coordination Committee meeting, which was held in the residence of Sharad Pawar at New Delhi. But I want to ask one thing, because this is a precursor to what is to happen going forward. Why is it that no other senior TMC leader was there? Could Saugata Rai have not come? Could Kakoli Dastidar not have come in Abhishek Banerjee's presence? Could Mahua Moitra not have come in Abhishek Banerjee's presence? Could the embattled Nusrat Jahan not have attended in Abhishek Banerjee's presence? Could Shantanu Sen not have attended in Abhishek Banerjee's absence? So the limited point I'm making is people who say that BJP is all about Modi and Shah. Arey, aapki Mamata Didi was in Dubai. Your Abhishek Banerjee was cooling his heels being interrogated by the ED. But what about your 22 plus members of parliament? Why could not even one of them attend the coordination committee on the TMC's behalf?
What are you insinuating? That they boycotted?
I'm simply not insinuating anything, but simply showing the mirror to this fractious alliance that TMC, which is supposed to be an integral part of the alliance along with JDU and DMK and the Congress, of course, which is the fulcrum of the alliance, when one or two leaders are missing, there is no representation from that party, and this party's supremo, Mamata Banerjee, when asked by Ranil Wickremesinghe, do you see yourself as the prime ministerial candidate? With an ooh and ah, she says, oh, the people will decide. Oh, ooh, that is, oh my goodness, people will decide, but you could not even send a representative to an important coordination committee meeting, point number one, and very quickly, point number two. On the 17th of August, BJP released its first list of 39 candidates for the Madhya Pradesh elections. We have already hit the ground running, and how? And maybe after today's CEC meeting or in the next 24 hours, we will be releasing hopefully our second list.
Okay.
And यहाँ coordination committee के आधे members आए नहीं, बाकी आधे like राघव चड्ढा कहते हैं, oh, A. Raja is a small leader, and बाकी other leaders like Sanjay Raut are busy saying that Manipur shares the border with China. ये हाल है alliance का. They are wiped out even before this.
Let's steer it back to the coordination committee. Mr. Narayana, respond. And just to, for the benefit of our viewers, here is what Sanju Verma was referring to. Since you brought up the issue of the trust deficit. Now, Trinamool Congress did not send a representative. The JDU also, Nitish Kumar, of course, was not a part of the coordination committee meeting, but Lallan Singh was. Lallan Singh decided to absent himself. Instead, they sent Sanjay Jha. The question many people are asking is there a rumbling under the surface about wanting to have a convener declared, wanting to have a PM face declared? Everyone wants it a little bit. They are not saying it overtly. And Mamata Banerjee is the most recent one. Let's listen in to her interaction with Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
Are you going to leave the opposition alliance?
Oh my goodness.
You're all wondering, huh?
It depends on people, you know.
Is she going to leave the opposition alliance?
Sir, opposition may be position also.
Madhava Narayanan, opposition may be in position, but who will fill up the position of Prime Minister? Seems that everyone wants it a little bit, not saying it overtly. Does that contribute to the trust deficit?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's go back. I mean, Mamata Banerjee was present at the dinner thrown for the G-20 delegates. That itself shows that she has a mind of her own. And that is not fitting into the simplistic formula that India is talking about. And as far as the position is concerned, having watched opposition politics for 3 decades now, or maybe a little bit more, I can tell you that opposition doesn't ever get to announcing Prime Minister candidate, even after elections, even after they're won. So I have very low or close to zero expectation on the front. Seat sharing and agenda are the things that I would be looking for next rather than Prime Minister, because Mr. Modi has presidentialized the country's consciousness in politics, but the country still follows the parliamentary system. And that is the preferred option in which coalitions are formed and leaders are chosen later. So there is there are possibilities of pre-election alliances, which is what the India alliance is all about. There is also the possibilities of post-electoral understanding based on outcomes and seats. All possibilities exist, and this is something that the parliamentary culture walas are extremely aware of. So, you know, this is the case of that old Panchatantra story about the stork and the fox. It all depends on whether you're looking at from the stork's point of view or the fox's point of view. Somebody eats in a plate, somebody eats in a jug. Somebody wants a presidential approach to parliamentary elections. Somebody wants a coalitional approach to parliamentary elections.
Okay.
People play on their strengths. You know, it is not, just that it was quite interesting to see Ms. Sanju Verma talk in detail about TMC. And I was also amused to think that, okay, wow, she knows more about TMC than perhaps the TMC people do.
Okay, I think she has a quick
There
right
are
to
ways
reply.
of looking at things.
Okay.
There are ways of looking at it.
Okay, quick right to reply. Then I really must bring in the JDU, please. Yes.
Madhavan Narayanan is a wordsmith, and I think he paid me a left-handed compliment. I'll obviously take it as one. But I just have this to say to him, and this is in light-hearted humor. You know, when you talk of elections in India, the Lok Sabha elections being presidentialized, to borrow your phrase, Mr. Narayanan, I think they were presidentialized way back in the 1980s, when Rahul Gandhi's father, Rajiv Gandhi, won with a thumping majority of more than 400 seats. So the limited point I'm making is that whether we like it or not, we are a vibrant parliamentary democracy, but the personality cult cannot be weeded out, especially when you're talking of a leader like Narendra Modi, who after being in power for 9.5 years, forget about being anti-incumbent, wave affecting his chances. We are actually now seeing the transition from anti-incumbency to pro-incumbency in many states, be it Uttar Pradesh, where the double engine formula worked beautifully well, be it Uttarakhand, where the double engine formula worked wonderfully well, be it Assam, where the double engine formula worked wonderfully well, be it Manipur, where the double engine formula worked wonderfully well. Even in Himachal Pradesh, it was a very tight contest. I will grant that, yes, Karnataka was one where we lost fair and square. So my limited point is, where will you get a leader from the dot alliance who comes even this close to Narendra Modi? Is it Rahul Gandhi? Is it Kejriwal? Is it Lalu Yadav? Is it Tejasvi Yadav?
Maybe it's Mamta Banerjee.
Is it Mamta Banerjee? But Mamta Banerjee has zero presence outside Bengal. She said we will win Tripura. They got
to be fair, Deve Gowda had zero presence outside Karnataka before he became Prime Minister.
Deve Gowda, Padmaja, Deve Gowda is exactly the reason why this alliance will falter. I have said this on your debates.
Okay.
Be it Deve Gowda, be it I.K. Gujral, be it Chandrasekhar. Every non-Congress government was pulled down by Congress. They pulled
But Sanjuji, don't say uncharitable things about Deve Gowda. He's soon going to be allying with you very, very quickly. He's in Delhi.
I just gave an example, Padmaja, don't get into trouble. I gave you an analogy.
No, we don't want anyone to be stressed or in trouble. But let's move on to the next thing. Since we are talking about who wants to be Prime Minister, कौन बनेगा प्रधानमंत्री? परिमल जी, ममता जी कह रही हैं कि ऑपोजिशन जब पोजीशन में आएगा तो लोग डिसाइड करेंगे. फिर नीतीश जी का क्या होगा? कल तो ललन सिंह जी कह रहे थे कि नीतीश जी है राष्ट्रीय नेता.
Padmaja ji, you are acting as a media person of BJP.
अरे
आप
I'm
समझे?
asking a
अभी
valid
पूरे
question.
डिबेट में आपने 70% समय बीजेपी के why do you not give it time? I was sitting here since last patrol 30 minutes.
Sir, apologies because there are so many of you in team I.N.D.I.A that everyone needs to get a voice.
No, this is why you invite other political parties. Either you are providing the time for BJP spokesperson or your political expert who act on states like the spokesperson of BJP.
Okay.
Actually, you see the
you
time.
Hold on a second. Parimal ji, hold on a second. Hold on a second. The journalists here who are on the panel, can I please have silence for 10 seconds? Parimal ji, please do not brand people who are journalists as spokesperson for the BJP. Madhavan Narayanan and Ram Kripal ji are journalists in their own right and they are giving political commentary. You want to say things about the BJP, the Congress, do that. Let's not please make personal comments about people who are analyzing, giving political analysis. I have had all of these spokespersons because you are an alliance of 28 parties. If you want all the time to speak, then you fight the elections alone. You are fighting with all of these parties together. They are all sitting over here and they all have a viewpoint. When you will have one common spokesperson, then you will get all the time as much as the BJP gets. Now, please answer the question.
No, actually, what is the meaning of this? You just want to take one statement from me. So whether I can pacify the state is
Sir, don't you want Rajiv Rai to speak? Don't you want Lokesh Jindal to speak? You think they should shut up?
No. Everything I will answer. You were raising the question. Actually, Ranju Verma was saying that the credit to host G-20 summit goes to Narendra Modi. The credit goes to the people of India first. Narendra Modi is habituated to take the credit of every phenomena. Actually, you see, Chandrayaan 3rd was due to concerted effort of ISRO scientists, but he taken the credibility of this particularly. Again, Aaditya L1 mission. This was also due to concerted effort of the scientist of ISRO. But again, BJP tried to take entire credibility. They neglected the contribution of scientists. This is the way in which the BJP is putting the particular factor before the people of India. You see, as far as the question of hosting of G20 is concerned, actually the place which was fixed for this particular phenomena was not due to the credibility of Narendra Modi. This is the convention there is a convention to host some type of meeting on rotational basis. That's why India got the opportunity to host this meeting first. And the credit to host this successfully is the pride for the nation, and the contribution goes to the entire people of India. Getting well now? Again, second aspect, as far as the question of what question you are raising, you say, Padmaji, what question you want to put?
Can I ask a question, Parimal ji? I'm so happy you've had your say entirely about G20. Now my question is, if Mamta ji also wants to be Prime Minister, then what happens to Nitish ji? Because yesterday Lallan Singh ji said that Nitish ji is a leader of national stature. Where does that leave him with these competing ambitions? That's my question.
You see, whether Indian Constitution adopted presidential form of the government, this is the first important aspect. Indian Constitution adopted Westminster model, that is cabinet form of the government. The issue is not who will be the prime ministerial face. As far as the question of our Honorable Nitish Kumar is concerned, he is most qualified person to be elected as the Prime Minister of India, but in the national interest, he not put any demand. He was not interested to become the convener of India Alliance. He is not interested to be announced as the Prime Minister candidate. This is the job of Narendra Modi or BJP person. Actually, my leader is working for the socio-economic and political justice.
Okay, respond, Sanju Verma. All
India.
that the JDU is saying, talking about the qualifications and the exceptional leadership of Nitish Kumar, not staking claim. Respond.
Okay. पहले तो पद्मजा जी, very humbly, बड़ी विनम्रता पूर्वक, I want to give the credit of Chandrayaan 3 success and I want to give the credit of G20 to Nitish Kumar, to Sonia Gandhi, to Rahul Gandhi, to Lalu Yadav, to Tejasvi Yadav, to Arvind Kejriwal, because after all they are also Indian citizens, तो इनका कुछ तो योगदान रहा होगा. अभी खुश? Now, जब एक शिप का कप्तान होता है, यदि शिप रीचेस द शोर, कप्तान को वाहवाही मिलती है. If the ship sinks, it is the captain who bears the brunt. When it is the state, it is the chief minister who bears the brunt. When a company does exceedingly well for its shareholders, it is the CEO who wins laurels. But if the company fails its shareholders, it is the CEO whose neck is on the axe. By virtue of being the CEO of India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi voted with a thumping majority for 2 consecutive terms, having a global popularity rating of 76%, certainly deserves credit. और आपको यदि ये हजम नहीं हो रहा, अपना इलाज करवाइए.
Okay. No personal comments. I'm going to have to end it there because there's heartbreaking news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. All gentlemen, Sanju Verma, thanks very much for joining me. News coming in from Jammu and Kashmir where 2 Indian Army officers and a police officer have been martyred in an encounter with terrorists in Anantnag district. The officers who were killed in action are Colonel Manpreet Singh, Major Ashish Dhonchak, and Deputy Superintendent of Police Humayun Muzammil Bhatt. He was recently only posted in the area. Yavar is joining us live from Srinagar. Yavar, first tell us, has the operation concluded? What more can you tell us about the circumstances of what happened?
Well, exactly. Let's go step by step. First of all, the operation has been halted during due to the darkness because this is a forest area in the Gadula, that's in the Kokarnag village of the South Kashmir Anantnag district. In fact, now the sources are saying that there was an information about the presence of a large group of foreign militants there, following which the police and security forces they swung into action, and it was an operation being conducted by the army, the J&K police, as well as the CRPF. Now, the CEO of 19RR, Manpreet Singh, along with the Major Ashish and the police DSP Humayun Butt was leading this operation from the forefront. In fact, remember that already the Humayun was recently posted there, and he's a son of a top cop who has recently been retired from the J&K police and served as a Deputy Inspector General in the Kashmir range. So somehow following that, when they went to that particular spot, the hiding militants fired upon them indiscriminately, which led to the casualty of the army as well as the J&K police. As of now, in the entire area, the reinforcement have been pressed into service. The entire area has been sealed up. Through the day, we were on the ground and we saw that more and more reinforcement were pressed into service to ensure that there would be no collateral damage, because the small villages adjacent to that particular forest range and the security forces, they are not taking any chance. What poses a challenge here is that this is a very dense forest. That's why it takes a bit of a more time for the security forces to flush out the hiding militants there. But as I told you that the sorties, the choppers were already pressed into service. In fact, the drones have been pressed into service to get this operation closed as soon as possible. But as of now, due to the darkness, the operation has been halted there, and we saw that the wreathing ceremony of the DSP Humayun had just been concluded in the Srinagar. The Lieutenant Governor of the Union Territory, Manoj Sinha, along with the top brasses of the police, civil administration, army, security, they attended that particular wreathing ceremony. So as of now, talking about this operation, the operation is still intact there, and the forces, they have to say that with the first light in the morning, the operation would be resumed in that particular place. Back to you.
Also, is there any fix on exactly how many terrorists were there, whether they are still in the area? What more can you tell us about that?
Well, the figures are catchy as of now. There could be the number of, 2 to 3 militants who are there, or it could be more. But yes, it's a very dense forest, and probably they have put the hideout there. That's what the entire scene came across. In fact, now the security forces, their first priority would be to ensure that they will go step by step to that particular forest, because this is a very vast area. They have to cover a very vast area to ensure that they will get these militants killed as soon as earliest. But yes, let me tell you here is that this operation will take a time for the security forces to gun down these militants there, because keeping in mind all the aspects on the ground as well as to the topography of that particular place, and the thing that are posing challenge is that, as I already told you, that there's a hilly zone there. So they have to ensure that besides there would be no additional casualty to the security forces, they will get this operation done and they will flush out these militants. Back to you.
What a terrible, terrible day and terrible news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. Our thoughts and prayers, as always, with the family of all 3 soldiers. Thanks very much, Yavar, for joining us. Thanks for watching.